Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Had to reset my mic. I really do feel like this thing is on its last legs. You can hear me? Good. How you doing, Mandu? Good, fantastic. And before we start, I just want to say apologies for the lack of the stream on Saturday, the damn stream. I was having all sorts of internet issues all day for the most part. About 6 hours of the day I was without home internet. So I decided to cancel the stream due to technical difficulties on, Saturday. So I apologize for that, but here we are Monday. We're going to be having a normal stream. Hopefully, no issues. How you doing, Joshua? Welcome. Okay, so who do we got here? We've got Mondu, Atlam, Sonia, Rev, Joshua. Good turnout so far. Does that sound like a normal day in Germany? So, near my home, they're doing a very big construction project, right? And it's like a big overpass, basically. And not only does it keep me up all hours of the night, but it often interrupts my internet, my traffic, like all sorts of things. Uh-oh, my camera isn't working. Guess what? It was me. I had the lens cap on. So, my apologies here. We started about a minute late. And apologies for the minor technical difficulties, including the streamer brain / covered camera. How was everyone's weekend? Did you do anything interesting? Did you do any session prep? Did you get a chance to play a game with your players? Let's hear about it. Okay, I am refreshing TikTok and Steam. Got TikTok and we've got Steam. Good. Excuse me. So all platforms are live. Fantastic. Lord Rev says, got to play through the first half of Curse of Straw Death House. Dang. Like in a single session? That's impressive. Mondu says, session got canceled. No! Curse you! Scheduling conflicts! Why must you always defeat my party? Let's see here. Sonia says, was fine so far. Tonight is game night in Icewind Dale. Nice. Icewind Dale is special to me because, like, I remember playing the Icewind Dale game as a kid. And it just, kind of holds a special place in my heart. RG, welcome to the stream. First off, welcome to the official Dungeon Alchemist stream. You say you ran a good session with a great map. Glad to hear it. Fantastic. Joshua story. This whole weekend was spent in the studio prepping a new lineup of TTRPG shows. Wow, that's cool. Very cool. I think Strahd holds a special place in a lot of players' hearts and DM's hearts, Mainly just because it's like something a lot of people have played. Though I do know that a lot of people also kind of are indifferent about it or kind of terrified of the module. This was your first run? Nice. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking around my office and it's like kind of bare at the moment because I pulled all of my campaign books out of my office and put them on like a new media shelf I built this last week. Had some time yesterday to start filling it up with stuff, and it's going to be quite the project. A lot of my large books and like my records are going to go there, so I have a rather, I don't know, for someone my age, I think it's an extensive record collection. Hey, Eric. Appreciate you dropping in and lurking. But yeah, yesterday I cleaned and like organized only just a small chunk of my records. It was like 50 records. Got like new sleeves, inner and outer sleeves, and like a record cleaner so I could clean the records really well. Took a good chunk of my day yesterday. Are there plans for incorporating moving background assets? I mean, there are animated assets already incorporated in Dungeon Alchemist. As you can see here, there's like these bees, some animated fish. The water actually can be animated depending on if you have it enabled or not. A lot of the trees and stuff sway. We have a lot of different assets like lights and stuff that are animated. Is that what you mean? Sorry, Joshua, I want to make sure I understand you there. And these assets, these animations can export to a variety of different platforms. So our exports currently support animated maps for TV tabletop, projector tabletop, Foundry, and fantasy virtual tabletop. I know Roll20 just added like enhanced support for animated maps, so we'll probably be looking into updating our exports to it be in line with that too, possibly. We'll see. So, welcome back to the Mapmaker Monday stream. Sorry, we've been just kind of hanging out chatting, as I love to do when we start these streams, to kind of see what everyone did over the weekend. The Mapmaker Monday is a stream where each Monday you can tune in and watch me, Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, build a map in real time. We picked this theme some time ago. It's been a while, but the thing is we only work on it one day a week for roughly a half hour. The stream runs about 2 hours, but during that time we talk about your sessions. We provide AMA support, which means ask me anything. So if you have questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, you just gotta let me know, and I will do my best to provide you with real-time support. Like you're in a class, like a teacher would guide you through a problem. So if you're new to Dungeon Alchemist, maybe you're considering buying it, or you own a copy, you've had a copy for a while, you can learn a lot during these streams because it's essentially like a course. So this map is massive. It's 82 by 82. You can see this in the corner here. If you highlight this little area here, the chevron, not only does it tell you the size, but you can actually reduce the map or enlarge it if you wanted to. I'm not going to, but I was just letting you know it's possible. We started in the front corner way over here, and we've kind of slowly been adding a little bit each week. Kind of started with this entry point. I made this road by hand using the terrain tool. Also this parking lot, and then we have this cathedral kind of, I guess, chapel with a 3-story bell tower. I thought they were kind of still doing subtle updates to dynamic dungeons. So, which is practical. We used to be something we try to use in conjunction. Gotcha. So, I'm assuming you play in person, where if you were using dynamic dungeons, correct? we essentially have an update planned on our roadmap that is going to be directly related to water and water type effects. So at some point, we'll release a very full update that will essentially give flowing currents, waterfalls, things like that. Honestly, I didn't think that it was abandonware. I keep getting subtle updates for it on Steam all the time. I own a copy, and I also kind of am cons with the developer on occasion. I do know, though, that Dynamic Dungeons is sometimes kind of struggles. It doesn't run that great. Depending on your system, like, it can have trouble running smoothly. But if you play in person with a TV tabletop, so I'm assuming, do you currently just use Dungeon Alchemist as kind of like a limited VTT? Do you like hide the UI and just activate the grid or something like that? Trying to understand your situation here. My grid isn't activating because I have it invisible. Grid on. Let's turn it up a little bit. So a lot of people who play in person, because, I mean, you as the DM typically facilitate, like, rules. You kind of, know all that stuff. So you don't have a digital tool set facilitating it. And you facilitate rolls in person with, like, physical dice. A lot of members in our community will just hide the UI like this and run their game sessions within Dungeon Alchemist. So, because you can do tokens on top of TV, or you can, incorporate the token menu here, which has a decent amount, or you can download tokens from the workshop, which has a rather large repository. There's over 1,000 tokens now, which is crazy. If you just look at the token section here, I think there's about 1,000 actually. 250, 244, 465, so 700. And okay, so 800 and some odd, so close to 1,000. Or minis on top, or minis in the session. Either way can work. So I'm assuming you just want things to be more animated than they currently are. I guess all I can say is, for now, every update we add adds more animation and more interactivity, gearing towards Dungeon Alchemist being, a full-fledged, full-release Mapmaker, as we are currently in early access and will remain in early access at least until we've released all our major stretch goals, from my understanding of our developmental roadmap. So it is a bit frustrating at times while things are like, oh man, Dungeon Alchemist can do all these things, but then it lacks this, or it's missing this, or it doesn't do that. I would like to point out you are kind of using it in a way it's not really intended to run a game. It's meant to be a map maker and an immersion tool. Though, to your credit, there are a lot of tools that supplement in-person play, especially on a TV tabletop. Now, I do think with time, as we release more updates, like the Water Worlds update would facilitate better running water, or water effects, right? We have an update titled Tricks and Traps, which would add even more animation. And I'm hoping even a tile creator, something where you could put, anyway, that probably doesn't matter in your situation. But yeah, I know, it's really hard to consider it not a VTT when it acts so good as one, especially in person. I will point out, though, that after we have left early access, our devs have said they would like to consider doing things like, consider, some sort of limited virtual tabletop. Hey, Alex, over on TikTok, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. So I do think at some point in time, there'll likely be a companion app to Dungeon Alchemist that makes it a more full-fledged play experience. Currently our maps export to, a variety of different systems and universal, formats. JPEG, WebM, MP4, plus a variety of virtual tabletops and universal VTT formats. So it's like we want all that to work, but also our own in-house VTT. Oh, nice, Josh. It might have been me you spoke with, but depending on when. Honestly, we are constantly looking into that kind of stuff, but at the same time, there's certain requirements and parameters that must be met. So, maybe the last time we spoke, it wasn't the time and things didn't line up for our brands, but it may be different now. We could have a conversation if you want to revisit that. But ultimately, Dungeon Alchemist, as we're an indie company, sponsorship opportunities are kind of minimal. Excuse me, sore throat today. I really like what I've accomplished over here, and I feel like I'm almost done in this section. I just want to add a couple more things before I leave. Excuse me, I might sneeze. Oh, I might sneeze. Okay, fought it. Anyway. Oh, nice. Nice, Rev. Thank you. Appreciate that. When it gets released, let me know. Link it to me, my friend, and I'll go check it out. So last week, this was what we worked on, was the greenhouse. I see the caretaker, this is the caretaker's cottage. This caretaker manages this entire property, the entire graveyard. So all the hedges, the trees, the various plants, the flowers. He, plants them, he maintains them, he waters them. And I think he is so handy with it. He's a bit of a green thumb, so to speak. And I wouldn't put it past him maybe having access to a couple of cantrips. Like he might have Druid Craft, or he might have Mold Earth or something. Free the plants, no bars should hold them. So, the greenhouse plants. Hey, thanks, Rocks and Rarities. Appreciate it. But the point of this map was to build a very massive cemetery complex. It's still a work in progress. And there's this whole section where I'm going to add a ton of graves. So we're going to add a section of pauper graves and also some terraced graves that are kind of like individual family plots that are kind of fenced off and raised, and kind of some are a little bit higher than others. I really want to wrap up work in this section today, though, so we can focus on those graves next week. So to that end, I think I'm going to just double check here, make sure there was nothing else I wanted to finish up in the greenhouse or over by the shed. There is this dead space. I've been considering what to do with it. But I did want to leave this empty, an empty plot, kind of like he's going to find his next rare plant. And then move it from there. Hey, Rocks and Rarities, by the way, were you dropping those likes? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Much appreciated. So if you come over here and you look at the greenhouse carefully, the greenhouse has all sorts of special flora and fauna that is rare, that isn't localized to this biome that he's in, right? So that's the point of the greenhouse, is it keeps it safe. These mushrooms are from the Feywild, these flowers are from the Feywild, these cacti are from a far-off desert. Hey, Leandro, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. And the like. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So we've got some rare, special plants and flowers. Some bonsai over here. Um, different displays and whatnot. Some mandrakes. Even some fruits from faraway lands because they aren't local to this area, this region. Hey, Leandro, thank you for the love. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. And the like, too. Thank you for the kind words. Dungeon Alchemist is always a work in progress. We have a major update planned that should be releasing sometime in quarter two. Quarter two starts tomorrow. I'm not saying that launches tomorrow, but the update runs, that time period could be anywhere between, tomorrow and the end of June. So very soon we're looking like a big update for Dungeon Alchemist. So I hope you're excited. So I think the greenhouse is pretty good. I laid out all the path, kind of decorated. We've got some things in here. Oh, I need a watering can in here. Put a little watering can somewhere in here. Just next to this little crate. Hey, Joshua, thank you for being here. Feel free to reach out to me in email and we can revisit the previous convo. I'm thinking right here, I might put like something that looks like soil, like, I don't know, a pile of dirt that kind of looks like soil. So it's like he could scoop from this if he needed it. I actually like that. Nothing fancy, it's just overflow space. So I feel like for the most part, the greenhouse is done. So Murr over on TikTok asks, hey there, just hopped on. Do we have an update on multi-level building, ceilings, roofing? Our next update, which is called Fun with Objects, which should be launching sometime in quarter two, is going to feature ceilings, flat roofing, angled roofing, multi-level, underground and above ground structures, all sorts of stuff. Trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, this is what I need to work on over here. So I'm going to put, I think, the wardrobe over here. Right? So it's like in his bedroom, next to the bathroom. It's like as soon as you get out of the bathroom, boom, you've got your wardrobe, right? I'm gonna just stack one on top of the other. Close this one. Hey, half ogre. How you doing, my man? That didn't work out. We'll put another closet here. I was also thinking like a nightstand. And then also I'm gonna move the study. So, Leandro, the High Seas update will support big-time boat, like, upgrades and builds. But now, currently, we do offer several ways to approach building boats. It's actually pretty straightforward. A a variety of tools we've added, kind of supplement, allowing you to kind of build custom stuff. So the collision toggle, for instance, if you disable collisions, it allows you to merge objects closer together, but it also allows you to raise objects up and down, and it also allows you to scale them far beyond or below their normal capacity. So what our community does is they'll build boats by scaling up like a rowboat to be ultra size and then placing stuff on top of it because they can raise things up and down and scale all sorts of different objects. There's quite a few examples actually of this on the Steam Workshop. Let me save this map one time and then we'll check that. So I actually have one, I think, in my list, like this one. This map here, drop a like on that, is a 3-deck boat on it's actually 4 decks on the same map, which is very clever because then if you have it on a VTT, you can just kind of move your players between these zones as they transfer between the floors. But you have like the upper deck where the wheel is and the rowboat drop. Below that is like quarters for like the captain and staff. You have the main deck, below deck, and then even further below deck. So it's possible to build ships like this. There's even easier options if you just go to the asset browser. Oh, I forgot to turn on my mouse highlighter. And then you click browse assets. If you go in here and type ship or boat, there's dozens of ships you can download that work great for pirate and, all that kind of scenery. So ship, boat, just kind of showing you a few, Leandro. So there's even airships and, astral ships in here of all types. So to that end, you could download a few of these and supplement your water building maps as well. Now, we don't necessarily have biomes that are like sea or island, but it's pretty easy to also build an island or a sea. If you go to new map and you go to, I prefer grasslands for this purpose. Let me explain why. Because grasslands has sand as one of its terrain types. I'm just going to type no vegetation on the generation there. I'm going to do no water. Okay, and then I'm going to generate it with some hills. That's fine. And then we'll hit... Actually, you know what? Let's set this to... Yeah. Let's try island, see what happens. So, while we do have an update that will expand upon this later on, in fact, you'll start seeing features of our kind of ship builder. It's called the shipyard. That we plan to implement down the road, which will allow you to build custom ships and whatnot. But an early kind of test variation of this will be in the next update, and it will allow you to kind of snap primitive ships together, and I think it looks really awesome. The ships you can make end up looking kind of sort of like essentially stuff from... where is that? Hold on, I'm looking for a special clip. Oh, here it is. So it looks like One Piece ships, like really wonky and like absurd looking ships that have like no business being a ship because they'd probably sink or wouldn't be like very easy to move. But it'll allow you to build custom ships by like snapping together modular pieces. We're adding a new tool in the next update called the Modular Object Tool, and we added a few ship pieces to kind of give people the ability to build some kind of basic ships, but with time this will expand and get even more advanced. In this clip, you're actually seeing another feature while we're at it called abstract lighting. Abstract lights, there's 2 types, a spotlight and then a traditional lamp. And what they do is they allow you to cast a light source of any color, at different heights, different angles. But when you export or you're looking at the map in first person or cinematic, the light housing is invisible. So it makes really unique, kind of mysterious lighting or scene lighting without adding any extra lights like lamps to the map. Johnny, thank you for the share. And Reese, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated, much appreciated. So an example of how this will work in the next update. So on this map, actually, I added tons of abstract lighting to make it more bright. It was actually incredibly dim, but there is like dozens of abstract lights hidden throughout the map, and you don't even see them, but it makes the map much more warm and inviting. I actually shared an image of this the other day. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. If I open this image here, this is how dim the map looked before on the first floor, before I added abstract lights. And then if you see here, here. Forgot to save this image. 1 second. And if you look at this one, these are the abstract lights added in the scenery. So there are these like lamps all over that are turned invisible upon export, but it keeps the light there, so you get the benefit of it. Pretty cool. Hey, see you, Leandro. Have a good one. Oh, where the junk is it? And then here is that same scene where the abstract lighting is invisible, but it's well lit. Excuse me. But yeah, this clip is actually multi-level. So you could see here, you've got the base kind of the structure when it shows at the beginning here. So, Johnny, it's a one-time fee for a lifetime license that includes all past updates and then future updates until we leave early access. After we leave early access, we'll still provide patches and hotfixes and stuff, and updates to match the exports through like the various virtual tabletops that we support and whatnot. Beyond that, though, our community has asked, hey, do you guys plan to do anything besides fantasy? So many times we've been asked, hey, will you do sci-fi? Hey, will you do cyberpunk? We have decided to add more to our roadmap down the line in the way of optional expansions. So the base version of Dungeon Alchemist will be very feature complete and work for fantasy. It even works for steampunk and western and some minor other aesthetics. And with the workshop support, you can even dive into like sci-fi and cyberpunk, but it's all by hand at that point because you got to download each object by hand, place them by hand. So it's a lot more work than the average map. We plan to offer optional expansions for, say, sci-fi that would add thousands of sci-fi related objects, dozens of room types, doors, windows, walls, etc. So you could make sci-fi themed maps within Dungeon Alchemist, using all the tools available. Now, that is completely optional and way down the road. So it would be something that's like, you know, you don't have to get it, but if you want it, you can. Yeah, no worries, Johnny. No worries. Rev, you know, I don't know offhand if there's going to be more secret doors. I would love to know that. Yeah, you can. We offer token support, right? You can place a token on your map. You can walk around in first person on the token. And you can import tokens from Hero Forge or you can download tokens from our Steam Workshop, which there's like almost 1,000 tokens available. I will be honest with you though, Disposable Individual, one key difference between us and say Sigil. Sigil was designed to be a map maker and a gameplay tool. Dungeon Alchemist's primary purpose is a map making tool. It's a map making and immersion utility. So it's designed to help you, say, build maps, right? And you can then export those maps for your virtual tabletop of choice. So like Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, or a variety of other systems. You can export your maps for print if you play in person. You can take a digital file like a JPEG to like an online printer or a print shop locally and have them print a poster. We have a partnership with a company called Kraken War Games who makes full-size map mats in like neoprene that are scratch resistant and waterproof that last like a lifetime. Alternatively, like I said, our maps export for virtual tabletops like Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, where you can play online through their systems using our maps. At some point, we plan to, offer our own virtual tabletop, but really our strong point and our focus is building maps and offering immersion for your gameplay. So for instance, you could then drop into this map in first person, record scenes in first person for your players to then they have as handouts. You can build, say, landing pages in Dungeon Alchemist and record scenes of those that you set up as loops. You can record flyovers, like it's a familiar flying over, or chase scenes, cut scenes, all sorts of stuff. But primarily your maps are meant to export in top-down for your virtual tabletop or play style of choice. We do offer a partnership with Bite the Bullet as well, but you can't import tokens from Bite the Bullet. We just get a new batch of Bite the Bullet tokens every update. So the next update will include a bunch of new Bite the Bullet tokens. So we add new tokens every update from them. Sorry, someone over on our Twitch chat wanted to bring that up, Disposable Individual, so I wanted to let you know that as well. Honestly, I feel bad for the Sigil team because, I mean, getting 90% 97% of the staff laid off the week after the product launches is not a good sign. I kind of had hoped there'd be more options in the space, but just doesn't seem like it's in the cards. Let's add a little oasis here. No, there was never any compatibility between Sigil and Dungeon Alchemist. It's not like they reached out to us and asked or even tried either. But Dungeon Alchemist has no plans to offer really 3D exports for other systems. It's not really meant to do that either. It wasn't designed from the ground up with the intention of being exported as a 3D format. Whether it's for a 3D virtual tabletop or video game design or 3D printing, any number of 3D reasons, it wasn't meant for that. Our assets, many of them are smoke and mirrors, so while this looks like a beautiful pine tree, it's actually a very simple shape with a texture map around it, which is the equivalent of wallpaper on a wall. So it can look really beautiful, but it's just a piece of paper wrapped around it, right? So it wouldn't be a beautiful shape if you put it in a virtual tabletop or a 3D printer or a game designing tool. It would look like a very simple shape. Hey, Cronklore. Well, thank you for letting your friend know about Dungeon Alchemist. Appreciate the word of mouth. As a small indie company, every bit helps when you share the word. That's like our primary form of advertising is word of mouth. That and the streams, of course. Honestly, yeah, Sigil, it does kind of seem like they were going for the video game aesthetic, though I could kind of foresee D&D, especially for a modern, like, newer generation of gamers and players, very much liking that. Like, my son wasn't really into D&D until he could play it on a virtual tabletop, right? And then once he could, it was more like a video game to him. He had inventory management and all these different things, and it made it more, like, easy for him to conceptualize. I do see a future with 3D virtual tabletops, you know, but it's just not there yet because the requirements needed for computers, the standard is just too high. Like, that's one of the main problems Sigil had, was the standard requirements were too high. Cronclore, I don't know offhand. I have been pushing for us to do that, like, so you could do foreground and background layers, but unfortunately I've gotten no positive feedback from the devs to that end. So I know someone wanted to know how to make an island and they already left, but I finished making it anyway. That was just like a quick little island I made in the grasslands biome of all places, because it has sand, so you can mix and match it. I also really love... Hey, cartographer, how you doing, buddy? I really love to add an abstract layer to the map when I do these types of maps. So I'll turn off collisions and I'll add an abstract to the map that is just out, like, away from the edge of the, like, the sandbar, right? Bear with me. So you've got this layer, right? Do that kind of like that, and then I'll make this, I'll insert a JPEG that is just solid black. And now it just looks like it really dips off the map. Does that make sense? There is a couple spots over here. I gotta lower the terrain. Oh no! Well, you get the idea. Honestly, like I said, we don't offer 3D exports, nor will we plan to offer 3D exports to any other system. Tailspire is a localized internal system. They don't offer imports. So even if we did offer 3D exports, it's not like you could take the file and import it into Tailspire. They're a localized in, like, ecosystem. You know what I mean? That's the same how Sigil was. It's all an internal localized ecosystem. So Dungeon Alchemist's current exports work with numerous different systems that aren't 3D. Yeah, exactly. In fact, pretty much every major 3D virtual tabletop, with the exclusion of Tabletop Simulator, use their own assets. It's a localized ecosystem with no importing available. So Tailspire would have to offer some sort of importing, reach out to us, and then work out some kind of agreement where we offer exports to them, and then we'd have to gut Dungeon Alchemist from the ground up, re-foundation it to work with 3D exports, which at this time, to be honest with you, I just don't think it's there yet. It's just not ready. It's not time. And I hope I'm not coming across as negative. I would really love 3D virtual tabletop gameplay that offered, like, full exports and whatever. It's gonna be a few years before it's, like, very, like, widely available between internet that's, like, not a potato in certain regions, right? Even rural regions in the US still have very, very bad internet. Computer specs that would be able to handle 3D games en masse, be able to host them and play them. There's just so many different things. Hey Duck, how you doing? So while I would love the option to have 3D exports, I don't foresee anything like that happening until we offer our own virtual tabletop, which won't happen until we leave early access and have delivered on all of our stretch goals and have, you know, because Dungeon Alchemist was conceived as a Kickstarter, right? So we have all these plans and roadmap already laid down because of that. And we need to follow through on all of those promises from our Kickstarter. So there's 5 major updates that remain from that. Once those are delivered on, then we will move on to likely making our own virtual tabletop as a supplement to Dungeon Alchemist. Hey, thank you, Joseph. I just kind of wanted to whip that up to show people how to make an island really quick. But we do need to get back to the cemetery, which is the main focus. So back to what I was doing here. I've got these little cupboard kind of things that act as like a wardrobe, right? I'm going to move the study in here. And I think I'm going to put it under the window. Be like a nice little view. Snaps in there pretty neat. Well, thanks, Duck. So, Duck, I've been building this map for about a half hour a week for like 8 months. So it's not like I've been, I I put a very little amount of time into it, but it's a very big and detailed map. So if you look at this, it's 82 by 82 squares. So that's quite a few squares on a map. That's a big, big battle map if you think about it. If you look over here in the corner, this is where we started the map. And then I kind of just expanded from here, but it's going to be a massive cemetery, ancient cemetery complex when all's said and done. Yeah, Cronkler, I agree. Unfortunately, though, there has been no talk as to whether we'll be allowing, the top layer to export as a foreground PNG or WebP. I don't think we'll ever offer PNGs because they're just not efficient enough as the map gets large, right? Like if the map was like an 80 by 80, a PNG would be insane sized. Unless it was a really poor quality, which no one wants a poor quality map, right? So the key with that would be, I think, WebM, because it's much more small and optimized. What GPU am I using right now, Joseph? I am on a 4070 Ti, and I also have I also have 132 gigabytes of RAM. Or whatever. 100 plus gigabytes of RAM. But I have two PCs actually, Joseph. One is just driving Dungeon Alchemist, so it runs really good and I can build big maps or look at the largest, most intense maps on the workshop. And the other one drives the stream. So I have a 2-stream PC setup. Basically, Stream PC, its entire job is to stream. That's all it does. It only has stream software on it. So it picks up the feed from my Dungeon Alchemist computer, which runs through a capture card in the stream computer, and then I set up the stream there. It's like a little production thing. And when it's like, what's my purpose? You stream. That's its purpose. Hey, Email, how you doing? It's true, Mondu. It's true. Honestly, I really want Dungeon Alchemist to be showcased as, this beautiful product that I could open any map you guys and gals share with me, open the biggest, baddest maps on the workshop, and be able to showcase them on a moment's notice, and also build big maps for you to see. So, I mean, if you're converting them to PNG yourself, you might have more luck, and you might be able to optimize them a bit more. I don't know what it would take to make it as like optimized as it would need to be for online play. You know what I mean? And I feel like the devs have dug into it a bit and weren't satisfied with the conclusion they came to. Okay, let's add some paintings in here. Or, I don't know, he wouldn't really be a hunter, right, as a green thumb. Let's put a painting on the wall then. Hey, Spellbound, how you doing? Too big. It's a good size. Didn't I already use that one? Yeah, I did. I guess I could change the image to something else. I don't know what. And let's change it to this painting. Yeah, that's okay. I am Duck. Hey, John, I appreciate you dropping in for a lurk. Appreciate it so very much. AJ, hi Mac. I just lost my interpreting job because of AI. I'm trying to build a portfolio. Is there any way to help localizing with the software? You know, AJ, that's a really good question, and we get questions about localization in Dungeon Alchemist quite often, actually, because it's, you know, it's in English actually at the moment, which is surprising considering the development company is based in Belgium. The entire team, for the most part, is based in Belgium, save myself. So a lot of people ask us, hey, when are you going to add, you know, German language? When are you going to add Japanese? When are you going to add Spanish? Any of these different languages we get asked about actually quite frequently. And I want to tell you that localization is something we plan to do, though it's just not in the cards until we are getting closer to leave early access. And I say that because early access is when Dungeon Alchemist, when we leave it, it'll be in its most solid, full state with all its feature complete nature, and it'll be the most, pretty much straightforward time to offer localization. Though, AJ, I could talk to them and ask them, if you want to reach out to me over Discord, ping me with the DM, we can discuss, you know, get your email, go from there and just see. Maybe they've changed their mind on that, but last I spoke to them, they wanted to wait. But me personally, I'm always pushing for localization now, mainly because I feel personally that it's an accessibility thing. Like, we really shouldn't be excluding, you know, anyone because their inability to read English, right? So if you want to reach out to me, we can talk, and, you know, I'll talk to the devs and see if their interests in that have changed. Just the last I spoke to them, that was kind of the line I was given, okay? So I can't really promise anything until I talk to them. Can I play the map? So, Duck, our maps. So the purpose of Dungeon Alchemist is to build maps and then you export them for play. So you would export this map for like your virtual tabletop of choice. So let's say you play online using Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or Foundry, for instance, or maybe you play in person on like a TV tabletop, or you do printed maps. All of those systems are supported through Dungeon Alchemist. So you would build your map in this tool, and then you export it for your play style of choice. You can walk around in our maps, though. So you could drop a token in the map, right? And then you click on this eyeball icon. I call it the icon. And then you can walk around in first person and explore the map and share it with your players, right? So you could stream this over like Discord or Zoom. You can record or take screenshots in this mode. Notice the UI at the top that says F, R, or escape. So you can kind of walk around and explore the map. I have a DM that I play with who streams first person to us, right? While we're playing in top down. So typically when you play like tabletop games, it's in top down. Your players are on the grid on the map, right? And they move their tokens around on the map, right? But the DM will stream the first-person view from where we're at, so we kind of have an idea of what it looks like through our own eyes. Correct. Tentative release for Fun with Objects is sometime in the second quarter, though that is subject to change. By the way, let me show you all some things that we've been working on the last month. So, oops, open that twice. Basically, the next update will feature roofing, right? And a lot of you only have seen flat roofing, but angled roofing is being worked on currently right now. This is just like alpha beta stuff, so it's kind of a little wonky. It's got some missing stuff. Essentially, our lead dev had to develop a very custom algorithm to make roofs like this work, and uh, it's called straight skeleton is the type of algorithm, but only like 3 or 4 people in the world know how to effectively use it, and none of them have used it to make like shingles and angles like this on a roof. So he had to customize and retool it for this specific purpose. It's pretty cool, actually. Carl's pretty smart. Like, I swear he has a patron that's some sort of electronic deity. Or, some kind of programming deity. He is very, very smart. So, to that end, though, there is like a lot of new stuff coming out in the next update. Tons of new features around objects and object manipulation, but also primarily multi-level, which is something a lot of people are very excited about. It properly shapes the roof, so it puts the shingles, the angled fascia shingles, where the roof conjoins and has those cover points where the rain can't get in at the top, like where the angles meet and intersect. It properly places the shingles where they need to be and distributes them at the right, like, interval. I don't fully understand it, but that's how he explained it to me. I always have to give it, like, I say, hey, can you Eli 5 this for me? That means explain it like I'm 5. Because I barely understand half of what he's saying, and then I have to pass that on to our community, and it's like, oh my gosh, okay, explain this again and again and again for me. Volkari, can you rephrase that a little bit? Say the chapel here has a tall ceiling. Would the roof automatically just adhere to the first floor? No. No. You could put a roof on, say, the 3rd floor. You can have vaulted rooms, so it just goes up until it's like the 3rd floor and then a ceiling. So it could just be like one big, tall room with a ceiling, stuff like that. There'll be lots of different roofs available. Like I said, what I was showing you is alpha footage, so it's very limited in what is available. Hey, no worries, Maphis. How you doing by the way? So a lot of what you're seeing is like alpha footage that is development footage or stuff that's like in our internal dev build. So while it's great to look at and it's fun, it's still a work in progress. Yeah, you can do vaulted rooms for sure. You can do even balconies, mezzanines, vaulted rooms, like you can do underground, above ground, all sorts of stuff. I should have a new clip tomorrow for everyone, like a little teaser. Right now, currently in my build of roofing, there's like one type of angled roof in the dev test build, and then there's a handful of flat roofs, and it's all just like alpha beta test stuff while we get it working correctly. So it's really not the finalized status, so I can't really speak to it fully. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited for this update. The next few months are going to be crazy here at Dungeon Alchemist headquarters. Lots of constant teasers. We'll probably be announcing the reveal streams, stuff like that. In this clip, you see the decal tool, which is a new feature being launched in the next update. It'll allow you to place, like, decals, images, on top of floors, walls, and objects to add an extreme amount of customization, kind of bespoke detail to your maps that you couldn't have before. Hey, Duck, I didn't notice that you followed a few minutes ago over on Twitch. Thank you so much for that follow. Much appreciated. quack, 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 quack. Go Ducks! That's like a staple of 90s childhood. Yeah, welcome to the damn fam, Duck. Oh my goodness, Chim, I owe you an apology. I thought I wrote you back the other day, but I did not. So I typed out a message, and I guess I never hit send. Sometimes I'm a doofus when I first read messages in the morning, and I'll type out responses and then, like, never hit send because I'm, like, proofreading them and forget, I guess. What did Chim ask? So when you put Hero Forge tokens in the map, they're available for you to see, right? But if you share the map on the workshop, they won't be there for anyone else. They'll work for your exports for like Foundry and stuff, your image exports, local gameplay, but they will not work for the workshop unless they are tokens that we gave you, like through like the initial tokens you got for free from Dungeon Alchemist, right? Like this Alchemist there. Because we license those to be shared. The rest, you own them for personal use, but not to share them, right? You don't own a license to distribute your tokens, and so we do that to protect you and to protect our license agreement with them. Sorry, what do you mean, Spellbound? Oh, Mighty Ducks? Gotcha. Gen X thing? Honestly, dude, that's funny because I'm not like even Gen X. I was like really young kid when those movies came out. Shoot. And I'm like elder millennial, I guess you would put me there. I guess I could fall into the Zennial category. Yeah, so we have an agreement with a company called Bite the Bullet. This tab here, these tokens are made by a very talented company called Bite the Bullet Studios. And every update, they'll be featuring tokens. So the last update, Magic, is when we started this agreement. And they gave our community like 20-ish tokens to add to their collection. These will export to any virtual tabletop. And they'll also be shared on the workshop. Additionally, if you download a token from the workshop under the little token section here, there's like 800 plus tokens. These also share in your maps and export to the workshop. You know, Howard the Duck, though, that is definitely a Gen X thing. My mom had that recorded on a VHS tape. I remember watching it a couple times when I was a kid. That's like one of my earliest Marvel experiences was Howard the Duck. I'm really kind of sad they never rebooted him fully in the new MCU. Okay, let's get back to this room. You know, it made money. You know what I mean? Like, it made money. It didn't, like, lose money, per se, after box office and sales. And to this day, the actors and actresses in it still get people asking for signatures. I think it just has a big cult following. You know what I mean? But yeah, it does have like a niche. You know, I remember the VHS for Ninja Turtles because they had that really weird production or distribution company. Like, was it Family Home Entertainment or was it Deke or something like that? Hey, I got a question for y'all. Do you remember the first video game you ever built? Or not built, beat. I'm sorry. Beat. Still kind of early for me. What was the first video game you beat from end to end? Yeah, some nightstands. That's a good idea. I'll do that. Let's look at the furniture tab. Let's see here. Benches, shelves. What is that under? Maybe a mirror would be cool too. Shadow of the Beast, interesting. Legend of Zelda or A Link to the Past, nice. Pokemon Blue, cool. Man, Link to the Past was such a good game. Link's Awakening, also good. Zork? Zork or Zorg? Okay, what are these end tables called? Let's just look under tables. Probably in here. Zork. Because isn't there also a game called Zorg? Fine, I'll just type nightstand. So I'll put one of these right here. We'll do the furnished one. Turn them collisions off. Oh no. Like the collision disabled the second I moved it. Hubert? Oh man, that game was fun. A text adventure? Cool. Man, text adventures were pretty fun. There was a game I played, I swear, with my friend on his computer, and it was like, I think it was called like The Crystal Cave or something like that. Kingdom of the Crystal Cave. I can't remember what it was called, but it was pretty fun. We got some nightstands. I think I'm going to put some clothing in this and maybe something on top of these. What could we put on top of these? So his bathroom has a mirror. He's got a loo. He's got towels. Maybe I could put some, I don't know, extra towels on top of this. More plants. That's a good idea. I'll just put some towels inside of these. Like that. Sheets and towels. Leisure Suite Larry, dude. Do you think I could have played that in my house growing up? No way. Okay, I wasn't even allowed to play D&D. Wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons or Futurama. My content was heavily audited by my parents. No way I could play a game like Leisure Suite Larry. Summer Olympics? Wow. Okay, so the first PC game I ever beat, King's Quest 4 or 5. King's Quest 5, right? Hey, thank you for the follows, AJ, Oda, and Mirless in the last 5-10 minutes or so. Much appreciated. I also, let's see, first console game I beat would have been Super Mario World. The first Game Boy game I beat was Super Mario World 2, 6 golden coins. No D&D on family home evenings. Half Ogre gets it right. Like, nope. Bro, you just like struck the funny chord there. You killed it, man. Oh my goodness. Not at all. Was that ever allowed? Wait, were you raised by my parents too? Zaxxon. Zaxxon. That sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it was. Man, what it would have been like to grow up in a loving household. Can't resize that one. Those books will not work. Thinking I might just throw some of these shelves like these ones with the books. Dragon's Lair, Space Age. Sounds fun. Gosh, I feel bad for. So the study's looking pretty good over there. Myst was pretty fun. I remember playing Myst. Yeah, I get it. I get what you mean. Thank you for clarifying for the people who happen to be watching on the exact platform you're on that happens to be called Twitch. Dragon's Lair was the one with the doofus-looking guy in the armor, right? And it used to be an arcade game. I think they remastered it a few years ago, and I also bought that. But it looked like a cartoon, and you were, like, essentially trying to rescue a lady from the dragon, right? Yeah, I know exactly that game. I remember playing that in the arcades. I played a few older arcades back in the day. One of my older favorite arcade games was Golden Axe. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Golden Axe would be the game I beat the most. Joust was good too. Excuse me. Ooh. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Was not planning on sneezing, but it happened. Trying to think of what shelf to put here. I was going to put one under the window and put some plants on it. Something like this could work. Drop it down. Change the color. Hoping there was a color that kind of more matched that. 'Cause, 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 'c Then I'm going to put a couple of potted plants right here. In the window. Got. What do I got? Ooh, we could do like a... One of my favorite arcade games was The Simpsons, like, Nightmare. Bart's Night, or what, like, or The Simpsons game, where it was, like, the 4-player game, and each of you could, like, you're trying to rescue Maggie. She got her, like, kidnapped or something. And then you all kind of have superpowers at certain points. Yeah. Like this one? That one? I like this desk. I'm going to use this. Watch. I'll leave those two. And then we'll put like a plant on this. I like this. And I could put a couple plants in the window too. I just need to decide on which ones. A da da da. I'm gonna put in something like this here. Up a bit. Shrink the plant down a little so it's not overhanging so much. Okay, it'll... I think it looks nice. For sure. It's a good suggestion. Let's put some scissors here, right? Some shears. Those ones look kind of crazy. Put that there. And then... It's not a desk. It's like I'm going to put some plants here and stuff. And there is a chair on this desk. So this is more like just a table. Or a stand, you know what I mean? Though I need to decide what plant I'm going to put on the top. I got an idea. We'll put a baby fly trap inside. I have a fly trap over here. Pitcher plant is that the pitcher plant right there? No, what's the pitcher plant? Don't have what it looks like. Pitchfork over here. Oh. In here, we do have a lot of the dangerous plants, or like plants that should be isolated particularly, you know? But yeah, no, I like your suggestion. I'm open to like a couple of small, interesting plants, is what I was thinking here. You know what I mean? Or just something like he maintains because it needs special attention. Gosh, can't grab that little bottle. Angle. Hey, Caillou, how you doing, bud? Okay, so we've got some indoor plants. Unfortunately, I don't have any angled like tools, right? But yeah, it does kind of feel like over here someone would. It's a trap. Ooh, I have an idea for this. Hear me out. Hear us out. Hear us out. Hear us out. Okay, I'm gonna put. I swear there's one I have from the workshop. No, that will not work. I really hate how hatches snap. Trying to like figure out what the name of the object I have is that it like does this. Yeah, what is it called? You know, I'm just gonna look on the workshop because I could have sworn I had one downloaded. I'm gonna save this. I already know a map that has it. Maybe. Save one more time because I don't trust myself. Oh man. Oops. What is that called? Yep, it is trapdoor. You're all right. Y'all are right. I honestly probably should have checked that before we moved on. Seymour is guarding the house. He's just chilling out here. Failed my investigation roll. Yes, yes, I did. Cartographer. So, cartographer, have you been trying some of those things we discussed? Nice, man. I gotta check that out. Is it up then? This is actually called a molehill, but it looks like fertilizer to me because it's got a good mix of like pebbles and, dirt. So I use this to kind of interchangeably with dirt. Like the pile of dirts were added far later. You know what I mean? Question. Just enough hatch that it's like intrigue? Like someone with a keen eye or a good investigation check might find this, right? That's a cool. Okay, that adds some interesting intrigue. Because I wanted a place where the caretaker had a secret entrance to the underground. And that's his entrance. It's way deep in the back of his property where hardly anyone goes, right? And guess what? It's adjacent to this really rich part of the cemetery where these are like the royal burial plots. Little things like this is the visual cue I like to do. Just enough that you'll see it, you know what I mean? But not enough that it's like. And rightfully so. So I'm trying to think of other points there will be entrances. So there's an entrance to the underground catacombs here in the church, okay? It has a secret entrance behind the confessional booth, right? So the confessionals have this fun little feature where there's several like doors and like access points, right? But you can put a token in there and rotate it around, and then it'll come out this hatch, and then there's a secret underground catacomb area. And I assume like the church knows this and it's been there a while. They maybe use it as like an escape route, or maybe to ferry away people who are claiming sanctuary, or you know what I mean, people they're trying to hide during like religious persecution or whatever. Any number of reasons, okay? I was also going to add a access point inside of here. Somewhere. I hadn't figured it out yet, but that trapdoor seems reasonable. Something like that. So here's the thing about this grave site, right? Like the people in this village and the people, the clergy, they like it's basically frowned upon, like not just as much as it is to steal, but people here respect the dead and respect their, their presence and their grave sites, so they tend not to steal from them, right? There is an annual collection where the church will, gather up offerings on the graves that are left after like a year, and they use it to help fund the grounds keep and digging the graves and maintaining the chapel, whatever. But the thing is if you look around this gravesite, like all over, there's like dosh, okay? Everywhere. On top of a lot of graves, there's dosh. So what I was kind of thinking in my head canon was there is like maybe a curse placed atop of this stuff that only certain people can take stuff, or they think they'll be cursed. Could just be hocus pocus, But at the end of the day, in a fantasy setting, curses do exist, magic exists, so maybe people don't really want to push it. But there was going to be that this is an old cemetery, right? It's built on top of catacombs and a sewer system where people were buried for even hundreds of years before this. So it's a massive old ancient cemetery. So I was thinking there would be access points to the catacombs below at several junctures where you can go through, traverse them. There's encounters to be had there. Maybe bandits hide out in the sewers down there, or someone, a necromancer uses them for nefarious purposes. But it could add a whole other adventure or hook to this entire map. A supplemental map, if you will. Sadly, it will not be able to be one map with up and down, like multi-level, because that won't be available for backwards compatibility with old maps, and this map is going to be just too old when the new update comes out. So, keep that in mind, y'all. When the next update launches, unfortunately, there will be some lack in backwards compatibility. Your older maps, you'll be able to open them, edit them, but you will not be able to access the multi-level feature in the next update in your old maps. Only new maps going forward. Okay. I like that. Yeah, it's kind of just like, how some people think they're cursed no matter what happens. They stub their toe. Oh, I'm cursed. Oh, their favorite actress died. Oh, I'm cursed. It's things that are just completely, like, not tied to that at all, but they probably think they'd be cursed. So, who knows? It could be that, or it could be a real curse. Would you really want to push your luck? Though it has been brought up several times that there should be grave robbers or a necromancer doing nefarious things here. Okay, shed done. We've got this spot filled out. The greenhouse is done. Was I going to put some plants along this little edge here? I remember trying and it just seemed too tough because they were too big. I could shrink down the shrub. Try thinning it out a little bit. See how much it cuts. Not too bad. Strawberry! Strawberry? Too much. Don't like it. We'll leave it open. Have some free space. Oh yeah, I gotta fill out this plot. What plant should I put in here? So we've got wheat. We've got beans. We've got pumpkins, potatoes, and squash. Carrots, strawberries, mushrooms, some different, cauliflower and lettuce, basil and herbs and whatnot, and then some melons. What should I put in this last plot? I need some suggestions. We've got a chicken coop over here. There's a lot of self-sufficiency going on in this place. Let's look at food. Should I put a cheese plant there? Just kidding. I really don't know what to grow there as part of the problem. Not a whole lot of options left that can fit these beds. I guess we could have like a mint type thing. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So we've got mint, strawberry, carrots, a little bit of everything. Inside, I've only got this little area here that's dead space, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. Open to suggestions on what to put here. I was thinking like it's like a shelf or something. Like one of these wall shelves that just has all sorts of random stuff on it, like books or something like that. Books! Like that. Hey, hey Polaris, how you doing? Something like that. Couple plants. Okay. I was also thinking of putting like some barrels in the center here. Oops. Maybe something like a salt barrel or something like this in the center that's like small but can be walked around, can be opened. And then maybe a mix of other barrels next to it. It's like added storage. We need a fairy or a Feywild's garden. So in the greenhouse here, I do have some Feywild plants because this is like a regular, non-Feywild biome I'm building in. But he is a green thumb and he does collect rare plants as kind of a hobby and tend to them. So we've got some Feywild mushrooms, some Feywild plants in here. He's also got some rare cacti, a dryad, and some bonsai, some mandrakes. This is kind of his private rare garden here. Some rare fruits from foreign lands. We do, though, if you're not aware, Spellbound, there is a whole biome dedicated to the Feywild under our terrain settings called the Feyplane, where you can make entire Feywild, fancy environments that are very, let's just say whimsical, if you will. But yeah, there's a lot of the rare kind of colorful plants in here that need to be protected from the outside world. Or, kept under supervision, so to speak. Kitchen looks good. Got some barrels. I feel like the caretaker's cottage is pretty solid now. I feel like I'm ready to move on. There was this one planter we saw earlier. This one right here. I love this one because it looks like a composting bin, right? So I think I'm going to put it right at the end of this panel, like right here. Because it could just be full of compost and trash or whatever. Or something like that nature. Maybe even this spot here. Like right at the gate. He doesn't like company. Ooh, I know where I could put this. Hey, Davin, how you doing? So we have one here that looks like another compost bin, right? Then we have this one here, so second compost bin. Kind of help and add to like what we're doing over here. This random soil. A shovel. Oop, no, did I lose the shovel? I like it. The stream has died for you. Uh-oh. Try refreshing, my friend. Which platform? Might be Atlam's local internet. Okay. This looks very good. Well thought. Okay. Mondu, can you tell Atlam to refresh? Okay, I'm going to save this and we're going to start planning out the plots in the next section. So I'm going to do pauper graves over here, which will be kind of just, generic simple graves, graves that maybe don't get maintained well or very simple. Okay, like a cairn or an outline or a cross. Nothing, maybe it's crumbling, nothing too crazy, right? All right, Chim. Keeps them out. Not the other way around, right? Have little bees all over here. Bees and butterflies mixed in. So you've heard of the mighty monarch. So I'm thinking like a road or a path that goes down this way, kind of dividing the two, and there'll be a fence and then a fence, right? So it's like a walkable path. Bears love honey. Bears love. Yep. You just reminded me that bears love honey. Because, that's all Winnie the Pooh says, ever. So I'm thinking path, footpath, 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 all the way down. Oof, that doesn't line up very well. Come on, Mac. Because I extended the map. But Bring this corner over just a little bit. That'll line up better, right? Let's see what that does. Maybe even that one would have been better. We'll see. This is a big add-on to the map, and it's already a big map, so it'll take a minute. Hey, not bad, actually. Okay. And I didn't lose any map over here. Impressive. I didn't lose any like decor, which means I just got to add a little bit of road, a couple of plants to really flesh this out. But then it'll be the perfect size. And it didn't add anything onto this. Atlam just typed for you. Okay, we'll file save. Let's finish off this road piece here, which I start with. Start with this gray pattern first because it has a more dense brush that doesn't have any breaks in it, so it's just solid paint. So this will be the undertone of the like foundation for the road. Paint that in really quick, and then I switch brushes to this as a secondary brush, which is actually the top layer. And now we have the edge of the road there. Didn't even know this happened. Steam's still working for me, Atlam. I'm sorry you're not able to see it, but I can keep an eye on it, my friend, if it's a problem. Okay. So we added this addition here, and it didn't even faze me. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I'm thinking like a walkway that kind of curves slowly and then meets up with this. And then this one will do the same thing, kind of curve towards this road. So it'll be like kind of like two concentric curves. Like boom, and then boom towards the center. And then we'll do the same thing over here. No, we won't, because it'll be different over here. Fancier. What's better, Run Amok? Oh, you were having issues with TikTok? I'm sorry, my friend. TikTok is a great platform, but kind of inconsistent. Um, I think they give, and I can't prove this per se. It's just kind of my experience is that it seems to like people who have the most viewers on their platform tend to get like the best like stream performance, which I understand their reasoning for wanting to do that, right? Spotty connection. Hey, see you, half ogre. Have a good one. Wow, TikTok. We're up to 1.3K likes. Thank you so much. Map responsibly, kids. Look at that freehand road there. Not bad at all, actually. You posted an at to me. Thank you so much, Cartographer. I'll check it out after the stream, which ends in just a few minutes. Also, dude, I would love to chat with you about having like just a powwow where we can go over your stream audio, video, and stuff, and fine tune it. If you're interested, no pressure, but that offer is on the table for if you have time. You know what I mean? So Volcari, there's a little bit going on with that. First off, I've been putting together kind of like a sort of presentation for my bosses, and I found a DM to work with who is on board as well. Um, the plan will likely be a 1 to 3 shot as a test. Okay. Run amok. If you want to ping me on Discord, a DM, we can try and schedule a time to do, fine tuning your stream, audio, video. Perfect. Same thing to you, Cartographer. Same thing to you, Cartographer. Just when you have time, man, let me know. So basically, Volcari, this plan that I've been putting together took a little bit of time because A, I was busy kind of running the whole office while the devs were out of town, and B, I was focused on a couple of things simultaneously. So basically, I'm developing a sort of like pitch for the devs that involves myself, a professional DM, and a like 1 to 3 shot where we kind of test drive the idea of having a game streamed on this channel. That's about as far as it's gotten so far. But the fact that I've got a DM on board is very big. It's just a matter of like kind of timing and making sure that the devs are cool with this happening now. But when the time comes, if we get close, there will likely be auditions, a form to fill out if you're interested in joining the group, and auditions to a degree. We'll see how it'll go. But because it's a 1 to 3 shot, it's like I said, just kind of testing the waters. It's more like a pilot than anything. Gosh. I'm trying to like freehand this brush so it doesn't skip past that line there. Is a little frustrating. That's just the first layer of the road. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty fun to put up like a form. People can fill out the form, and then the form will have a couple of questions and some qualifying information. And then based on, that, we do some auditions and then pick out people for the group. The whole point of this, though, would be kind of a community event. Think of it like this. The maps that the community makes and shares on the workshop could end up in the campaign. Maps from the Dam Challenge could be part of the campaign. People on the dev team might end up being guest PCs or guest NPCs. People from our community could end up being guest slots for like an NPC or a PC. And so I really want to involve people in our community on a lot of different levels, in a way that I feel most of these other, streams of campaigns can't really offer to this degree, because it's not from a map making tool, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I was hoping for a little bit different interaction, so to speak. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I want it to be a community event. If we're not able to do these, as an ongoing monthly thing, like, once a month or a bi-weekly thing, then I'd like it to be like an ongoing, like a mini series, an event. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, like some of you might be young enough, some of you are right in the pocket for remembering this, and we're part of it. Some of you might be too young, but there used to be like all these mini-series events on TV when I was growing up, where they would like have a show that aired for maybe 2 weeks, and it aired like 4 times in that 2 weeks, but it was like a movie or it was like several mini movies put together. So like it was fun in that regard because it was like an event where it was rare. It wasn't like an ongoing TV series that was there every week. Yeah, mini TV series. So, like, there was one called Oz that was really good. There was one that was, it was called Tin Man, I think, is what it was. And there was one called Dinotopia that was really good. They did a mini series for, like, almost anything. And they were always really epic, kind of just like 3 mini movies or 4 mini movies in an event. Tin Man was so good, by the way. Zoe Deschanel killed it in that. Man, I miss miniseries. NBC, ABC used to do them too. Like Dinotopia, I'm pretty sure was on NBC. I think TBS did a few as well. There was one for the Odyssey, right? That starred Armand Asante. So he was Odysseus. That's the thing, Chim. I'm not necessarily sure yet, because this is still kind of all in the planning stages. But it could be a combination. You know, things that are like, you know, maybe people who have a theater or talent, like an acting background, voice acting, whatever. People who are very active in our community as map makers and, you know, active in the streams. People who have their own active communities and stream and create content themselves. You know, so content creators, active D&D streamers, map makers, kind of across the board. Bad idea, Burb. You know what? I'm very excited for multi-level too. You know what? Let me show you a real quick clip and then we're going to probably wrap up the stream. I don't know if you saw it, but I shared a clip the other day showing some multi-level in it. And it kind of just tells you how easy it is to switch between levels or add levels. So when you press the plus key or the minus key, it'll jump between your floors. So if you have only your first floor, if you hit plus, it adds a new level and you can draw in rooms. So it's like a floor where you can add in rooms. Like here, let's go back a little bit in this clip. If I pause it here, right? This is the second floor. It has this is an inn, right? A tavern and inn. So I could see this as like a suite or maybe the owner's room. And then you have some double, beds here and some singles, a little deck, private deck, a bathroom, a public restroom, and then it goes downstairs, right, to the lower floor, which has the pub, the entry point, a bunch of tables, a place to get drinks, and then the staircase to go up. So there's several ways to transition between these floors. You press up on this little interface over here. You see my mouse? It'll make a new floor going up, or you can press the plus key and it'll go up. Then once it's generated that new level, it'll look a lot like this, like a blank kind of wooden slate. Then you can grab the draw room tool and draw a new room on top of that, or rooms. So in the case of this previous floor, I had the shape. I made this part a balcony, room, hallway, room, Yeah, I need to update the bot. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to do it, though the social post I updated that times and that today to reflect it. The bot takes a little bit of effort for me to change, and this weekend just didn't work out for me. I didn't have any time to do it. So, anyway, multi-level will be very easy for you to transition between floors, whether it's going underground, above ground, or going up multiple levels, down multiple levels. Just keep in mind, just traditional building still applies. You'll have to, once the floor is made, then you generate the new structures in it. Easy peasy. In this map, a couple things are in play. So I was playing around with abstract lighting. I think I really need to show the differences here. So abstract, without adding abstract lighting, this is how dim the map looked on the first floor. It was very dark. That's just all the lighting it had. Even with lamps and candles everywhere, it looked dim, right? So what I did is I added in abstract lamps. These little icons that you see here, these are abstract spotlights and abstract lamps. So I put them all over the build in places where it kind of felt dark. And then when you export, these are invisible, but the light they cast is still there. So it goes from this to essentially, to this. So very well lit. Hold on. There we go. So it goes from this to, you add the abstracts to this. So when you export, it's very bright, but there none of those invisible, all the lights that we added are invisible. So it looks very professional. It's going to be very nice. I'm very excited for the abstract lighting update to the, like, all the additions and like improvements it'll be making, because I know lighting in particular in like caves and some areas, people aren't very happy with it, and this should improve that drastically. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone participating in today's Mapmaker Monday. We actually got a reasonable amount of building done. If we take a look here, so if you look at this, I mean, we wrapped up work pretty much at the caretaker's cottage, which, you know, had a few key points of interest. We decorated out the room, made it feel a little bit more lived in. We finished out the work inside of the greenhouse. We added this little secret hatch here covered in manure or fertilizer. And I came over here and then I extended this map out to match, so the new path would be perfectly centered on the road, which it was off-centered a little bit. So I added 2 squares on this side, which meant I had to extend this road. And then also we just added this path. So starting next stream, we will be working on the path, adding points to exit from the path that allow you to access the various points in the cemetery. And we'll be adding new grave sites. Pauper graves here, and kind of more fancy terraced graves here. Portalic, your name got me there. That one's funny. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You're waiting for a discount on Steam. You'll buy it right away. Of course, of course. So stay tuned to, you know, the normal like big Steam sales, like winter, spring, summer, fall. We typically participate in all those, though it's not 100% guarantee because Steam has to invite us. We can ask to participate, but they have to say yes or no. So we don't have a choice. We ask, say, hey, we'd love to be in this sale, and then they say yes or no. They have to approve it. So if they approve it, we'll be a part of it. Do keep in mind, though, Dungeon Alchemist does have a demo, so you can kind of try it out right now, which gives you access to the forest biome, which is one of like a dozen biomes available. And you can build a tavern and even export it for print or your virtual tabletop of choice. But I will say this, and I'm not, you know, I am the community manager, so I'm a little biased, but our product is very solid. For a lifetime license, for a one-time purchase, you get a lot of oomph, a lot of tools, a lot of value. I mean, even if bought at full price, one of the huge values right out of the gate is access to the Steam Workshop repository of shared maps and 3D models that were all shared by our community. There's almost 11,250 maps, so over 11,000 maps that you can just download and use in your campaigns, or you can get inspiration from them, reverse engineer them. So 11,000 free maps at your fingertips, as well as 9,000 3D models that are on top of, hey, see you later, cartographer, on top of the 3D models that are already available in Dungeon Alchemist. There's like 6,000, 7,000 stock assets, but this gives you options to make things in like sci-fi, cyberpunk, Fallout, modern, or even more advanced builds inside of a fantasy aesthetic. Anyway, so those are 2 huge values that are added. We have tons of tools that allow you to add customization to your builds. Not your rooms can be, you know, rotated, raised. They can be made circular, angled, concave, all sorts of different shapes, whatever you want. And our next update will be adding multi-level. So stay tuned for the sales, but also if you snagged it now, you wouldn't really be at a loss. You'd get your money back pretty quick in the value that's offered already in Dungeon Alchemist. And we have an update planned for the next 2 or 3 months, so you'd be getting it right before an update. I can't speak for the community, but I'm sure a lot of them would love to share their insight on their purchase with Dungeon Alchemist and how they feel about it. Do they feel like it was a good investment? Is it worth, at full price, or would you rather wait for a sale? Either way, thank you everyone for being here. We actually need to wrap up. So if anyone wants to take a moment to, share their insight on Dungeon Alchemist while we are kind of doing the wrap-up phase of everything. I really appreciate you all for being here. Mapmaker Monday stream is such a fun stream every week. There's always so much going on and a lot to learn and a lot to do as a community as we hang out and learn Dungeon Alchemist together, share, my insight and teasers from upcoming updates, and answer your questions in real time like you're taking a course from a master mapmaker. Now, Mapmaker Monday is not our only stream every week. Our next stream is on Wednesday. It's actually Discord exclusive, so if you're not a member of our Discord, I highly recommend joining. During the office hours stream on our Discord every Wednesday, which is at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. UTC, right? That stream is hosted on our Discord, where we will provide real-time AMA support regarding Dungeon Alchemist, your Dungeon Alchemist inquiries. Need help printing, need help exporting, need help building multi-level right now. Maybe you're wondering how people accomplish some of the things in their builds. Tune in, get your questions answered in real time. And we also showcase teasers, hang out, and discuss people's campaigns and counters, their own maps. It's kind of just a GM chill sesh where we hang out with each other, get to know each other as community members, like-minded map makers, and share feedback and insights on each other's campaigns and ideas. Oh, so Artful Darkness over on TikTok says, absolutely worth it. So, thank you everyone for attending the stream. Appreciate you very, very much. Unfortunately, I got to take off, so we'll see you next time I give a damn. I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. See you later, everyone. Mac out. Bye. We'll leave the chat up for a minute so people can share their insight on Dungeon Alchemist while we do the commercial and wrap everything up, okay?
You stand before the long, dark road.
By the way, this is a Dungeon Alchemist commercial. No other brands featured on this channel except for when I say so.
I don't know. A goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak Tar. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered mapmaker, on Steam today.
Woblin's always up to no good. I feel like he just has more cheese down there and he doesn't want to share. And I wouldn't want to share either. Random explorers showing up at my house 3 times a week demanding my cheese. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Enjoy your week. We'll see you on Wednesday for office hours or Saturday for the Dam Challenge. If you're participating in the Dam Challenge, remember, Our theme is maze. Make a map using maze as inspiration of any shape or size. Submit it to the Damn Challenge channel. Make sure you follow the rules pinned at the top so you qualify. If your map is qualified, you have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card and a little piece of Dungeon Alchemist Immortality. Your map is featured promptly, the first map on the stream, and you're also featured in the following week's Cartomancer Chronicles newsletter. So, flex your Mapmaker muscle, show us your skills, make a map that is a maze-type theme, and share it in the Dungeon Alchemist Discord for a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. You have between now and the end of day on the 4th, Friday, in your time zone by 11:59 p.m. to submit a map if you want to participate. Thank you again for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.